Okay, now that should work. Sorry guys, my mic capturing capabilities was off, but I have fixed it. It should work. Let me check the audio delay really quick. Jesus, that is loud. There we go. Okay, it's fixed. We did it. Alright, anyways, welcome to the Florida Sea Watch Gravity Falls Fanmade AU. So, I'm really excited to be covering this on the channel, mainly because, as you guys know, I tried to start my own ARG about like a year or two ago. It's still in progress. Honestly, the only reason I haven't continued it is because of the fact that I just got really overwhelmed with a lot of things. So I kind of just put it on the back burner and just left this channel to be the primary function. But I'm going to go back to it eventually. I have everything planned out. I just need to get it going. But anyways, it's not about, this isn't about me. This is about the Florida Sea Watch ARG. And as you guys may have noticed, if you have or haven't, I've been making some posts within the post tab on YouTube, kind of like giving you guys little sneak peeks here and there and little tidbits and updates about what this ARG is about, what it entails, what I've been doing behind the scenes to, contribute my part. And currently, as of this live stream, I don't care about the stream's current bitrate, leave me alone. Currently, as of this live stream, from what I've seen, there's only been about one YouTuber named Ozone who has been actively trying to solve the mysteries within the ARG and has contributed some findings along with the commenters and followers that he has within his posts. I've personally reached out to him on his channel. I've left a comment on his most recent video. You guys can go check that to see for yourselves, asking him if he wanted to collaborate or anything on this this ARG. Unfortunately, I have not received a response. So I'm just gonna kind of leave it at that. I would have joined his Discord server to ask him personally, but I felt like that was going a bit too far, especially with the fact that my channel isn't as big as his is. So there could have been some, I guess, problems per se with that type of collaboration. So again, I'm just gonna leave it at that. Oh well, I tried, but at least I'm doing what I can here to help whatever is going on over there. So for now, this is the moment to where you guys, the viewers, the commenters, the contributors, potential contributors, I'll put emphasis on that, will or could be able to contribute to the master document that I myself and a partner of mine have created. So currently it is still massively a work of progress. I have not looked at or flipped through the 466-page journal at all. I wanted to save that for the live stream and to leave something to solve for the viewers. But as far as everything else, I have literally been spending the past 2 weeks deep diving into the Twitter accounts, into Ozone's YouTube videos, into his comment sections, and compiling an entire document of nothing but codes and information and feedback and lore, and it's really well put together. I put a lot of effort into it. I would really appreciate it if you guys could go check it out for yourselves, because this is going to be the same document, the master document, that we're going to be using to add on to the journal contributions and such and such. So, if you can, or if you are able, or if you want to, if you will direct yourself to the description of this video, there should be a link to the Google Doc, which is right here through the edit section. So to you, it'll be an actual link that you guys could probably click on or copy and paste into your own Google search engine or whatever search engine you use. So feel free to use that link, and I am going to now hop on over to the Google Doc. Let me change the output. This is gonna take me a second, guys. It's been a while since I've live streamed or posted videos on the channel. So let me figure this out. No, I don't want Roblox. Okay. Why is it only giving me that one? Is it because Google Docs has like a protection thing? That's interesting. I might have to do a display capture then. Wait, let me try window capture again. Yeah, that's weird. Okay, it only gives me the YouTube. So I guess Google Docs has some form, or I guess the Google apps in general have some form of encoding to protect them, which is fine. I'm gonna see if display capture works. Hopefully it does. And we're going to try and see if that will... Alright, so now I'm gonna close the window capture and just... Oh, great, now that one's bugging. Gosh darn it. Okay, usually it works, so I'm very confused as to why it's not. Oh, I'm just stupid. Okay, so as you guys can see, now it's like live, like what I'm clicking on at the moment. So I'm going to switch over to the Google Doc real quick. I'm gonna, flip around like this on it for a second, get it on the recording. I'm gonna go back to the recording to see if it picked it up. Hopefully it did. It did. Okay. So yeah, you guys are just gonna have to deal with me switching tabs, which I feel like will help, just to keep things updated at the time. So anyways, let me switch back on over to the document. So yes, here is the official Google Doc, the master doc. Everything you need to know, or everything that will be added on to the ARG will be here. Everything will be in this master doc. Now, of course, if another creator or if another community member decides to create their own master doc, then feel free to use theirs as well. This is a community engagement. It's a community collaboration. So any and all community contributions will, have some sort of relevance in the grand scheme of things. So you don't have to just rely on this document I've created. I'm sure someone else will probably eventually make the one if this ARG ends up, blowing up, of course. But anyways, I'm going to do I guess wouldn't say brief with how much stuff is already in here, but I'm going to do an overview of what is in this document. So I'm just gonna put it out there now before we get into the meat and bones. This first live stream is mainly going to be focused on going over previous information and setting up future information for the next live stream, just because there is a lot to cover in this ARG, as you guys can see based off these tabs. So we're going to get a good chunk of information out there already before we actually take on the journal findings. I will do a couple pages of the journal towards the end of the live stream, but for now, it's going to mainly just be a big recap. And then once I'm able to get that recap done, we'll be able to go into, the real stuff with the journal, which I'm hoping to host another live stream potentially later this week or weekend. So it won't be too long of a wait, I promise. But anyways, so for starters, we're going to go over the intros and guidelines. So for now, it's just kind of general basic stuff. I know it's like a lot of, proper material and stuff like that to read. The reason why it's like that is because we just, as the document creators, want to make sure that we are not held liable for anything that may potentially happen within the community. Because, people are people, they're going to do what they want, so we just wanted to make sure that this document in itself is not used for any ill will or any nefarious purposes, and in the event that it is, we will not be held responsible. I'm going to emphasize that what you decide to do with our document is on you. We are not going to be held responsible for anything bad that you decide to do with it, so do not come running to us. Besides that, I really want to emphasize, please do not falsify or AI generate or create fake evidence for this ARG. We understand that people are really excited about contributing to this ARG and such, but that does not mean that you should go around and start creating your own type of fake codes or fake pictures just to be credited for something. It is not worth it to have a bad reputation within the community just to get credited for something. I'm going to say that now. So just be honest. Do the hard work. If something gets found before you're able to find it, you'll get them next time. That's all we can say. Um, what else? What else? What else? So yes, this document is not official. I'm gonna emphasize that too. This is not related to the creators of the ARG. This is fan made, and this is community made, as said here. So please do not say that, oh, this is an official document. Oh, the creators endorse this. No, 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 no. The creators do not endorse this. We made this. I made this. My partner made this. This has nothing to do with the creators. Do not involve them in this unless I say otherwise in the event that they reach out to me. So, also want to emphasize that. If we do notice anything being bad used for our document, we will take the proper precautions and steps to potentially give punishments to people who decide to do those types of things. So if we see you again using our document for bad things or in a bad way, we do have the right to exercise our power and remove you from contributing to our document. So please keep that in mind. There will be no warnings or second chances. Don't be dumb, guys. Don't be dumb. Don't don't ruin this. This is a fun and awesome and wonderfully made project by some amazing people. Just don't be dumb. But yeah, anyways, that is there. It's the first thing you come across. So if you ever feel like you're unsure about something, like, I don't know about this, refer to this front page. It's all laid out there for right there for you. Anyways, moving on. So in the credits, if you let me back up a step. So if you'll notice on this left-hand side, there will be these small arrows. If you click these arrows, they will extend into subtabs, there we go, within the main tab of some of the sections. So just make sure you guys keep that in mind, that it's not just it's not just these. You guys gotta actually go into these sections to see each individual post. I did that for organization purposes to make it easier and not just have a wall of text. So anyways, going into the credits and links, as you will see, the lead document creators are myself and my partner. The actual ARG creators are linked below with their respective websites and social media platforms. Please feel free to reach out to them or check out their pages and give them awesome support for the amazing amount of work that they did for this ARG. They deserve it. And we support human artists. We love them. We love our human artists. So, fuck AI. But anyways, if you'll take a look here, this is how we're going to be distributing the credit for any Twitter finds or any book or website finds that are not already credited or posted on this document. So if you can, take a few minutes to read this. I'm just going to show them here. I'm not going to go over them because I don't want to be like a Debbie Downer, but it's there. So if you have any questions or are wondering how credit distribution is going to work, that should be there to help guide you on what you need to do to get credited. Anyways, also the links to the Twitter page as well as the actual website that we're going to be using, I'll pull it up right now, are on there as well. And I've been trying my best to kind of link certain things within the document to each other to give references. I'll show you guys what I mean in a bit, but I've been trying. I may have missed a couple, but I've been doing my best. Moving on to the official Gravity Falls cipher page. So this page in itself is dedicated to the original Book of Bill cipher hunt ARG that happened about a year ago or so. Actually, didn't it happen earlier in the year? I don't know. Sometime previously. But this page is just dedicated to ciphers that were used during that official ARG hunt. We noticed that a lot of these ciphers were used within either the book or images that were shown on the website. So we wanted to include these decoders here in case you guys wanted to use them or in case we needed them, just for reference. That yes, it is still connected in some regard to the Book of Bill ARG, not officially, but obviously they're trying to connect it if they're using the same or some of the same ciphers that were used in that ARG. So that's here for use as well. Okay, so now we're gonna get into the knit and grit of it. So the first section is going to be focused on the Twitter page findings. As of the moment, we are unsure if the Twitter page is completed or if it's still ongoing, hence the question mark. Their last post was, let me double check, I think it was made October 27th. So it's been about a good 2 or 3 weeks. So we're unsure if it's going to keep going, but we're going to keep this open-ended anyways. Again, we've linked the Twitter page here, so I'm just going to briefly go through this main page just to give you guys a main idea. This is the Twitter page itself, the Florida Sea Watch. There's its description, and we've also mapped out which followers that they are, people that they are following. As of now, it seems like all of them are official Florida Twitter-based accounts around national parks or agencies within Florida. So it seems like the ARG is just contained to this one Twitter account. Not sure why they're following these others. Maybe it's just to give more of a, I guess, atmosphere to them being based in Florida. But yeah, so far it just seems like it's just this Twitter account in particular that's about the ARG. But yeah. Moving on from that, we're going to go to our first post. Again, this is just going to be briefly went over for all of these things, unless, of course, I start rambling, which sometimes I tend to do, so we'll see. So yeah, the first, oops, sorry, let me check the chat in case anyone joined. Nope, okay. Anyways, so the first ever recorded post on the Florida Sea Watch account was made on October 13th at 9:01 a.m. You guys will start seeing a pattern with the times that they are posted. Not sure if it means anything, but it was kind of weird. So anyways, there's a description of the post. Nothing really special. And then of course the second image shows Florida Beach, I would assume. And then if you scroll down a little bit, or I guess if you look at the image, you'll see some odd text on the left-hand side. And we further went into it and we deciphered it as well. And we tried to list the cipher that was used to decipher it. So in this case, it was the @bash cipher. And it just says unofficial, not affiliated with any company or creator. So again, this further proves the fact that this is an unofficial ARG. As much as we would like to think it's official, especially with how well it's made, the creators have confirmed it is unofficial. So for the time being, guys, sorry. But anyways, and then as you guys will see as an example, I tried to include credit at the bottom of each section for people. It's structured differently in some sections, but for right now, at least, oh, excuse me, for the Twitter posts, it's going to be at the very bottom of each page. So in this regard, this Twitter user was able to decipher it first. So yeah, that's kind of what we're going to do for each section, if that makes sense. All right, next post was made on October 14th. Once again, pretty simple description, nothing really out of the ordinary. In this case, the images that they posted were also pretty normal. It's just of 2 sea turtles. That guy needs some help. That's not healthy for him. He's stuck. But yeah, nothing to see. Nothing really stood out here. So in that case, we move on. Next post was on October 15th, and of course, another simple, easy, state-of-the-mill description. This was interesting. This is what really made me realize that the ARG itself was pretty high quality, was the fact that this sign apparently was actually made by the creators and posted on one of the beaches. So that was really cool. Like, they're actually using in real life resources to do these types of things, which is very, very cool. I commend them highly for that. So just based off this in itself, that they're willing to put in the effort for this type of stuff just goes to show that this ARG is taking itself seriously. So, Anyways, the reason why I posted two images of this is because based on this image, if you zoom in a little bit on the top section and on the left-hand section, you'll see some of those old Book of Bill ciphers start pulling out, specifically Bill's ciphers. So if you'll see here, you can see that the top one says look, 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 have fun on the beach, and the left side one says get distracted. And of course, I linked the relative decoder here, which again was Bill's symbols from the official ARG, once again connecting the fact that they are trying to use those symbols, and then of course the attributed credit. All right, October 16th, once again, simple, easy description. This was the picture that was attached to the post. If you look in the bottom left-hand corner, you will see some Morse code. We also emphasize that one of the clouds looked like a skull formation. And then there's the Morse code on the left-hand side, which can be seen here if you zoom it in. And decoded, it simply says it's in the water. So once again, oh, I didn't even notice that. I guess there was author symbols on the, oh yeah, there it is, sorry, on the bottom right-hand side right here that once again uses the Book of Bill ARG decoder. And that one says, when land is sea, he is free. So as you guys can see, it kind of doesn't make any sense at the moment. There is some implications that Bill Cipher has returned, but we're not really sure what the relevance is to the sea and to land and such like that. All we know from the official show and the official ARG is that Stanley and Ford went off on their own in the Stand War II and, you know, decided to go explore the world and take on all of the weird oddities that started popping up all over the world. So that's kind of where it left off. I am assuming that this ARG is kind of picking up where they ended and is kind of showing the aftermath, which is really cool. I like that. Anyways, moving on to October 18th, once again, simple description, the media that was attached to it. Of course, in this media, in one of the leaves specifically right here, there is a key, a green key with the word green on it. In this case, also in the rafters, there was a set of letters that were put in this order, and it actually ended up being a, I cannot pronounce this word, this cipher. I'm just going to say this cipher. With the key being the word green, which is funny because it's on a key. And when you put those two things together, it says, the tide is high, but I'm losing hold. So it seems like someone's trying to communicate with us in terms of just like telling us what's going on, which is very interesting because you would think that it'd be like Bill who would try to communicate with us in this regard, but it seems like it might potentially be Ford or Stanley or some other third person that we haven't seen yet. So some very interesting things to think about. And of course, credit is attributed where it needs to be. So yeah, just for right now, you guys remember how I mentioned the times before? So just based off that, take a look. 901, 601, 901, another 901, and 601. So yeah, there's a pattern. If you guys notice, there's a little bit of a pattern going on here. They're either posted at 9:01 a.m. or 6:01 a.m. So again, I'm not really sure if that's has some relevance to anything, or could be a potential code, or maybe it's just the time that they decide to post them. But yeah, I just thought that was a little bit interesting that they purposely, you know, made the effort to post it at the same two times, one of two times every day. So just something to point out. Once again, here we go, going back to 9:01 a.m. Simple description. This one was interesting because, again, they're using those real-world elements compared to, like, just photoshopping here. They actually had the Stand War II crate. Now, this crate you're going to see again eventually, but for right now, yeah, that ain't looking so good. What happened to the Stand War II? That was, again, in case you guys didn't know, that was the boat that Stanley and Ford were using to travel their universe, or I guess their world, to find oddities around every nation. So that's not good. This is not good. But anyways, moving on. Once again, 9:01 a.m. And a simple description. These images were that we saw nothing wrong with them. We saw no codes. We saw nothing really standing out. So for right now, they're being left alone. So they're just kind of there for documentation purposes. Sometimes he would post twice or even 3 times within the same day. So as you guys will see, those relative posts will be labeled as accordingly as they should. So this was the first post he made on October 21st. It's, again, 6:01 a.m. Again, simple description. And within this media, actually, if you go to the second image, this post had 2 images, you'll see that the word "be warned" is written in the sand. And if you guys remember or have seen the Gravity Falls show, you'll know where this is from. In case you haven't, the word "be warned" is from that one of the earlier season 1 episodes where Dipper gets bitten by a bunch of mosquitoes that can have fortune-telling capabilities, and they end up spelling the word "be warned" on his arm, kind of giving a hint as to the amount of shenanigans that him and his sister were gonna get up to in the show. But yeah, so like little callbacks to the show, and of course the attributed credit. This was the second post he made on the same day. Simple description, and in this case he posted a weather alert chart that shows the storm that's coming in from the east. And if you notice, in the very bottom right-hand corner, there is this. This is the number to letter cipher, to where every single letter in the alphabet is corresponded to the number in just, numbers. So like A equals 1, B equals 2, C equals 3, you're kind of going down the list until you get to Z, which is 26. So you just replace each number with its according letter, and you get the following. You'll swim fine. Har har. So it seems like someone of pirate descent, potentially, or someone who is messing with us, is purposely leaving us like pirate-themed messages. Or it could be 2 people, because it seems like one person is taking this seriously compared to this guy who's just he's just having fun with it. If we move on to the October 22nd post, you'll see, once again, it's a pretty normal description, but now, another example of their in real life dedication, they actually made a journal. And if you notice, it's the familiar 6 fingers, meaning that this was probably Ford's journal that he used on their adventures on the sea. Once again, knowing that this showed up on the beach without Ford or Stanley in sight is probably not a good thing. That means something probably happened to them. So let's see if we can find out in the journal if anything ever happened there. And it kind of just gives an image of the front and back side of the journal, so that's very cool. I do appreciate that the creators decided to even make a version of their journal. That was very neat to see. Alright, moving on to October 23rd. This was the day that had 3 posts during the same day. And if you guys will notice, the posts are now starting to be posted at non-linear times. So the last actual post that was posted at the usual 6:01 or 9:01 time was October 21st, the first post of October 21st. After that, it just kind of lost track. Now it's going to 4:30, 7:01, 5:54, 9:33. So now it's just kind of, you can kind of start to see the slow degradation of the owner of the account, because yes, the owner of the account was affected by the things that were happening. You'll see that soon, but it kind of just like going to show now that like, hey, this guy is probably not okay now that he's not. It's like little seedlings, little sprinkles that just kind of showing you that, hey, something's wrong. He's not posting at his usual times, stuff like that, But anyways, going back to here, that's the book. All right, so going to the first post of October 23rd, once again, simple description. This image did have Morse code at the bottom center. You'll see it zoomed in here. We did decode it to read, "Come with me and you'll be one with the sea." So there is intentional misspelling here. This is what the Morse code says. So it really seems like they're heavily leaning on the pirate lingo specifically, especially with the misspellings or the missing letters. So there definitely is some form of pirate-based character that is communicating with us. And then again, the credit as given. All right, the second post of that day. This one is now like saying, "Hey, you know, it's not just the times anymore. The author's not doing too well. You know, he's not as formulated anymore. He's stopped using capitals. He's slurring his words. He has some, you know, letters that are bigger than others. Of course, it's part of a code. Sorry, I'm yawning. That's part of a code. If you take all the capital letters and put them together in order, you get the word sink, which again kind of alludes to the fact that maybe the Stanley War II did sink. But if it did, then what happened to Ford and Stanley? Where are they now? What's going on? Why did it sink in the first place, you know? And why is there stuff falling into our world? Because that's something else you have to think about, is that if this Florida Sea Watch account is following other official Florida accounts that are based in our world, in our universe, in our dimension, then that means that some form of rift opened between our world and the Gravity Falls world, to where either items or creatures or even characters themselves have now found themselves in our world and are suffering the consequences of that. So it's definitely a lot to think about. Like, there's a lot of unanswered questions here. And again, the image has no documentation, so it's just there for right now. The third and final post of that day, you really get to see how the author is slowly like slipping into this state of just incoherence, and you can see it that he's not doing too well. And so in this case, sorry, excuse me, I keep like yawning. So sometimes us, the creators of the document, will leave potential clues or potential things for you guys to double check for us, or for you guys to give your own input on. So in this case, this is one of those examples. So if you notice that there's a lot of periods in these sentences that seem very out of place. Now, could it just be a symbol or showing that the fact that the author's not doing too well? Yeah, maybe. But we here at Theory Central, I'm just kidding, that sounds too much like MatPat. We thought that potentially it could be some form of Morse code or something along those lines. So we wanted to take the extra step and double check it. Now, of course, it's seeming like it's more so just for the look, for the text appeal, especially that the Morse code returned this, because the way that we did it was, or at least the way that I broke it down, was I did each period that wasn't together as a space. So like this is 1, which is E, and there's this space, and then there's 2 right here, which is I, and then you keep going until you get this, which is 3, which is S, you know, and so on and so on. So it eventually gave us this. I tried a word unscrambler, and it gave me this, which, interestingly enough, is a plural version of the words, or of the meaning or saying, seas of. So I did find that a little bit interesting, especially since, Bill or whoever is talking to us definitely does seem to be the type to, like, seize an opportunity, or seize a deal, or seize some type of treasure, if that makes sense. So I did find it interesting that the periods themselves devolved into a plural version of the saying seas of. But it's not official, and that's said here too. It's not confirmed. We just decided to do that to see if anything worked. And then, of course, we watched the entire 9-second recording, and even though there were glitches within the video, when we went frame by frame, it didn't seem like there were any codes within the glitches. It just genuinely seemed like the video glitched. So for right now, we're going to leave it at that. But of course, we encourage you, the contributors or the viewers, to please go look at it yourself. This is a community effort. You guys may see something that we don't. We all think differently. We all see things differently. So we want you guys to give your feedback on these types of stuff. So that is one thing I did forget to do. I forgot to turn on the commenter, because if I gave everybody editing access, that would be a mess. So as of now, if you guys go onto the document, you guys will be able to comment on the pages now and leave your ideas, thoughts, or findings next to they'll pop up here. We'll see them. We'll check this document as often as we can. for any new comments and stuff like that. And please do comment if you guys see anything, if you guys find anything. Leave a comment. We'll take a look. But moving on to October 24th. So now you guys again can see that the offer's not doing too well. You know, he's slowly degrading and stuff like that. And then of course he posts this image that was attached with the description. As you guys will see, zoomed in, you can kind of see some tentacles back here, which you guys will understand later why we called them tentacles and not anything else. And you guys can kind of see that here already, that it's speculated to be the jellyfish that Bill does not like, and you'll see why. And then of course there is a code right here, right there, within the water. This code was a bit hard to do, especially since the image itself that was uploaded in a very low ratio scale, as well as very low resolution and more pixelated than usual. So even when zoomed in to the highest resolution and ratio scale I could find, this was the quality I got. So it was very hard to get the specific letterings of this. I actually had to reverse encode and decode some of the things just to see if it worked, because I wanted to double check what this guy said, because honestly he was the only one besides this person that figured it out. Now this person did suggest using it was a Caesar cipher 3 letters back, but even then it took a while to like double check the work that this is what was written here, and eventually we did, and it said not from around here. That was pretty interesting. The second post made that day, once again, he's not doing too well. He's lost all his motivation now. He doesn't even have emojis anymore, so it's just more so like a rambling, ranting, speaking. And he posts this picture of a map. Now, of course, if you'll notice within the map, it looks very different than the maps that we're used to of the Florida region. For example, that's not a dolphin. That is very obviously not a dolphin, so already from that, we can tell that this map is not from our world. Especially with the style that it's drawn in and stuff like that, it's definitely not. Whew. Gosh, I keep yawning. It's definitely not from our world. Also, this fish is named Permit. I don't know if there actually is a fish named Permit, but I just thought that was pretty funny. Another thing of note is that some of these islands are named differently than the islands, oh my goodness, that we actually have on an official map. So that was also interesting to see. On October 25th, this is where he finally linked, or they finally linked the website that we are going to be referring to in just a bit here. And this, they also attached this image that shows some coordinates that they were now sailing out to. And of course, I had to double check the coordinates themselves, so I inputted it into Google Maps, and I got this section off the Florida coast to where it was right above, like, the Dominican Republic and right next to the British Islands. So, sorry, it was right there, my bad. Sorry, not Dominican Republic, it was above Puerto Rico, and it was right next to the British Islands. And of course, just for these purposes, please do not visit any of the Google Map locations that may or may not be posted in this document. They are not official locations. We are just doing this to double check our work and to see if there's any ARG relevance. This is not the cipher hunt. This is not the statue hunt, okay? There are no real-life locations. Please do not endanger yourself or your safety to visit these places. Come on, guys. I feel like that's common sense. Unless the creators actively say something along the lines of, hey, here are these coordinates, there may be something there, you guys go figure it out. Don't. Just don't. These are just here to, ask the question and to see the bigger picture. They are not here to give you, the idea that you should go out into the middle of the ocean and see if there's anything there. No. No. We will not be held responsible for the decision that you make. We are telling you no. But anyways. So yeah, that was the location that pulled up, and again, it does have the locational relevance in terms of the map and the coordinates to Florida. Oh my goodness, I keep yawning. I'm sorry, guys. All right, so October 26th. This is the second to last post. The text is fully just gibberish at this point. Well, not fully, but it's getting there. The author obviously isn't okay. They obviously had some type of accident after they went to those coordinates, and now they're speaking in code. So of course we had to figure out the code. Actually, what was interesting about this is not only did the description have a code that read, "I can hear him whispering my name," but the image itself, if brightened, showed another little text box in there that reads "Yar har he he he." So very interesting. Very interesting. We're definitely talking to a pirate themed character at this point, but we still don't know who it could be. And then the final post, as of today, because I did double check today, did have another cipher within its description, and something of no, yawned again. Something of note here was that his right eye has been aching and that he's been wearing an eye patch while it heals. Now, could this mean that Bill somehow got into his head? Maybe, yes. We know Bill has one eye. We know Bill likes to mess with, your eyes itself, especially with Ford, especially when he was Ford's muse. He would try and poke out his eye or test his eye capabilities, especially if you looked in the journal, you could see that, what Bill did. Or something else to consider, maybe somehow Stanley got into his head. We know Stanley has his iconic eye patch, but it doesn't seem like it's Stanley, especially if his right eye has been bothering him. I don't think possession of Stanley would go as far as that, but I'm still leaning heavily on the fact that it's potentially Bill that got into the head, our protagonist here on the Twitter account, which is not good. That's not good, guys. But anyways, the text decoded reads, "I am him, he is me," just further showing how the fact that he has been corrupted or possessed by something. Again, there's no firm implication that it's Bill Cipher or some other entity, but obviously something has gotten into the head of our account user here, and he's not doing too well. So yeah, just something to think about. The image itself that he posted didn't seem to have anything wrong with it. He just seemed to wash up on the shore of some beach, and that was it. So yeah, again, as of now, there are no further updates to the Twitter account. I don't know if they're waiting for us to find something in particular before they start posting again, or if they're just taking a break after all this stuff that they put out. I don't know, guys. I can't give you an answer. All I can say is just you're gonna have to keep updated yourselves too if you really want to put in the time and effort to solve this ARG. So yeah, moving on. Now we get to go to the fun stuff. Now we get to go to the captain's website, the captain's log website. So before we get into that, I'm going to check the YouTube chat just to see if anyone has joined us. Nope, nobody has joined us. Cry. But anyways. Alright. So, once again, the Captain's Logs website is still ongoing. We assume that it's going to be updated eventually once we find something in particular or once we, solve something along those lines. But for now, the link to the website as well as the Captain's Log Twitter post findings will be on the main page of the subtab. And of course, all of this section is only referring to the clickable items on the website. So only things on this main page right here that can be clicked. Yes, I know the journal can be clicked, but in terms of that, the journal is its own thing. So it's going to have its own tab right here, as you guys can see, which we'll get to eventually. But for right now, let's go into the captain's website. There are a couple things that we can look at. So for starters, we have the binoculars, which if we go into the website, you guys will see that you have to click on it to activate it. Let me make sure that the audio is playing. So if you guys can hear that, audio not playing. There we go. So yeah, the website itself actually has its own little soundtrack. It does loop, but it's kind of cute and it's very soothing. So if you guys want to listen to that while we're doing this, you can, but for the time being, I'm going to have it muted just so I can hear myself think and hear myself talk. But anyway, so yes, as you'll see up here in the upper left-hand side of this terminal, there's binoculars, and if you click into it, it'll show you an outside view of what I would assume to be the boat you're on, or maybe potentially you're in some type of uh, thing, or in some type of house or testing facility or data facility right next to the beach. Although I still do think it's a boat, the fact that you can't see any land within these binoculars and you just see open sea. So what's so special about these binoculars? Well, if you stay long enough on the binoculars, meaning that you stay on the page until the animation cycle finishes, because yes, this is a looped animation, it is not infinite, and we can confirm that, you'll start seeing some things. So if you guys know, oh yeah, also if you switch tabs while you're in the binoculars, it will pause. It will pause the animation. So try not to switch tabs when you're in the binoculars, or you're going to be waiting longer for something that should have been there already. So we did do some time estimates just so you guys know when they should show up. So the first thing that appears is a green light on the right-hand side. We think that this is a reference to the Great Gatsby, specifically the green light that Gatsby sees across the lake that he's living on. If you guys remember, the official book of Bill A.R.G., there was Great Gatsby references. I think even like an entire PDF version of the book could be found on the website. So there was a lot of Great Gatsby references within the book of Bill A.R.G., so I'm not surprised that they decided to do it here too. Now, what it means in this regard, I don't know, but obviously they're still trying to make some connection to it. So, yeah, that's there. And then, after the green light, there is a pirate ship that floats from the right-hand side to the left-hand side of the screen. So that's pretty cool. You guys will know more about what this pirate ship could potentially be once we get to these other sections, but right now, there's a pirate ship. That's pretty neat. The third thing that you can see is another green light that is fainter and faster on the left-hand side of the screen. Once again, really pushing that Great Gatsby reference. The fourth thing, another green light back on the right-hand side. Now you may be thinking, isn't this the same green light that you just showed in the first one? Nope, it's a different one. It's still fainter and it's still faster than the original green light. So, yeah. The fifth thing that you can see is a shark. A shark pops up within the ocean. It just kind of swims around. He does get close. Oh my gosh, I keep yawning. He does get close to the camera a little bit, or I guess the binocular vision in this case. He does get a little bit close towards the end of his cycle, but then he just kind of swims away. So that was pretty cool to see. And then, of course, the final green light appears on the left-hand side, bright and shiny as ever, before it goes out, and then the animation loops. The way we know that the animation looped is through the page source method, to where we checked out we went through the inspect mode of the page, and we managed to find some of the animation and audio files, and one of them was the binocular file, and as you guys can see, it's only a time run of 2 minutes and 50 seconds. After that, it loops itself. So in reality, our time estimates should be pretty accurate as to when certain things occur, as long as you do not switch tabs. But I guess in a way, it is kind of thankful to know that the animation isn't infinite, or at least an hour long, so that we wouldn't be sitting there forever. But yeah. So the next thing that we did was the weird meter. I'm not gonna lie, this thing was a bitch to put together, specifically because I had to go frame by frame to get all of the individual images of the weird meter. You guys will see in a sec. So the weird meter can be found right here on the lower left hand side on the terminal. If you click on it, there's two places you can click on, or I guess not two places. There's this little button that you can click on, and it shows this and plays an audio cue and such and such. Now, of course, it goes by really fast with each variable, so you can't really tell what each section is saying. So that's why we included the individual frames. So if you scroll down a little bit more, you will see each and every individual frame within that GIF, because it is a GIF. So you will see every single frame, variable, detail, data, and result until we got to the frame right before it loops again. That is 21 images within that GIF. Now, as of yet, we are unsure if these dots within each of the images could mean something, whether it's mapping out some type of overlay, or they're showing symbols or runes or something like that. We don't know. So we don't even know if these dots mean anything. They could just be added decoration with the weirdometer. But for right now, feel free, once again, guys, help the community, help the document that we don't know what these are. Could they be connected? Could they not? We don't know, but they're there, and you guys have access to images of them, so do with that what you will. Anyways, moving on. If you guys will notice on the website in the lower right hand corner, there is something called an anomaly pod. If you click on this section right here on its glass, it will give you this blueprint for the anomaly pod MK 2.0. Now, we have reason to believe that this anomaly pod is the new and improved version of the Rift from the Gravity Falls show. You guys will look here. This was the Rift that was in the Gravity Falls show that Bill Cipher wanted so he could destroy and get power over the void. Or I guess the Rift, in a way. So, of course, this was destroyed successfully. We got Weird Mageddon. And yeah, all hell broke loose in the show. So we think that this is a kind of like a nod to that, oh yeah, maybe we shouldn't rely on such old and outdated technology to literally hold a tear in fabric space-time. So, and you could tell because in this top right-hand corner, they say, now shatterproof. So I actually wrote that down on the doc as well, that the blueprint glass says it's shatterproof, as in the original Rift, as in the show, the original Rift was cracked, and then it was later shattered by, I think it was Blendin on the ground, because he was being possessed by Bill Cipher. So it is funny that they made it shatterproof as kind of like a nod to the fact that, yeah, we learned our lesson, let's not do it again. I love it when creators decide to do meta-analysis like that. It's very fun. But anyways, on to the sound button. I'm not gonna lie, this one was also very hard to put together just because I had to go digging around the source files within the website to find all of these audio files, specifically just because they weren't linked in the source. I had to manually filter out the MP3 files whenever they played. So I had to go in and individually play each MP3 file. And what sucks about it is it's randomized, so you don't get to choose what audio file plays at what time. They just give you a random one. So I literally had to sit there for an hour to 2 hours just to make sure I was given all of the audio files. So that was fun. There was over 30 audio files. So as you will see, all of the links to the respective audio files can be clicked, and you will be redirected to just the file itself, in which you can either download or change the playback speed of. We highly recommend you guys download these audio files for yourselves. Check them out in case we missed anything. I'm not gonna lie, it's my first time, you know, really running them through these programs. So I didn't really know what I was doing. I just kind of followed a YouTube tutorial and went from there. I might have missed something, either a plugin or a setting of some sort, and maybe there was something there. I don't know. So that's why we encourage you guys, the viewers and the contributors, to check these things for us. Not just check, but also like do your own research on it, because we only got, you know, we only know so much, if that makes sense. So, unfortunately, most, if not all, of these audio files did not have any interesting spectrographs or anything along the lines of that. But again, we weren't really sure what we were looking for. So, in case there is, feel free to report back to us. But yeah, so just kind of straightforward from there that all these audio files are here, and it gives a brief description on what is contained within them, as well as, you know, we are unsure of its origins, and it gave no results when run through a spectrogram and sonography checker. So that was upsetting. I was really hoping there would be one, especially that some of them it sounded like there would be, but then once we put it in, we were like, wow, there's nothing here. So yeah, bit sad, but it's okay. We did find this one as a potential lead. It was specifically labeled Tink as an MP3 file, and it was literally just like a tink noise every couple sessions or so. And I guess either he got so annoyed or someone else in the room got so annoyed that, yeah. Wait, what am I talking about? Oh my god, I just referenced something from a show. I'm so stupid. I'm sorry, guys. I'm like running on no sleep. Ignore that last part that I said. Ignore it. But anyways, so yeah, the tink sections, we kind of thought that like these spaces in between some of the letters and numbers could mean like actual spaces, in whether it meant like Morse code, in which the code would be S55H, or if it was just literally the tink count themselves, to which is 3554. So we don't know if that means anything. That was the only close thing of resemblance that we got from Morse code, or not Morse code, from the spectrogram that was worth mentioning in my eyes. So, but again, if you guys find anything, let us know. Feel free to leave a comment, and yeah, we'll update it accordingly. But yeah, that's where we also left this little like, hey, we need your help. This is just what we could find. If you guys happen to find anything else or see anything else, let us know. We'll probably include it. Don't worry. But yeah, so moving on to the radio buttons. Now, these radio buttons can be found on the upper right-hand side of the terminal. So as you guys can see, the radio buttons are right here. It's these 4 little buttons right here. Each one pops up a different image. We will show those images below. So the first image from left to right is this top secret folder, and it shows an emperor jellyfish. Literally, a jellyfish with a crown. It is an emperor. So we have reason to believe that this is the emperor jellyfish that was shown in that one Twitter post with its tentacles, as well as referenced in other sections. It seems like this might be the world's cosmic entity, like how the axolotl Frillium was the Book of Bill ARG cosmic entity. We think that this jellyfish could be either on par with it or very close to the idea of a cosmic entity. And as you guys can see in the background, they don't know where it is, so either it escaped containment or they never had it in the first place and they're looking for it. So just something to consider. This next image on the radio buttons was an old cutout of a newspaper clipping from May 13th, 1983. It talks about ghost fishermen and ghost fish and ghost horses, and the ocean was, excuse me, fog rolling in on the ocean and it being very hard to see, especially for the lighthouse workers. Pirates stirring and causing trouble on the ocean, specifically ghost pirates. Some think that they're not alive. And then, of course, the bad weather conditions with the fog and such. So, with that in mind, it is interesting that if you go into the binoculars, it's really foggy, and then if you go back to the binocular section, there is, once again, the pirate ship that goes by, and then it's just fog. There's nothing but fog. So, we have reason to believe that this takes place in the Gravity Falls universe. Not necessarily our universe, but this is in the Gravity Falls universe because it seems like these events are happening within the Gravity Falls universe. So that was something interesting to think about. But yeah, so moving on from that one, we have this next one that focuses on different experimental studies of different creatures. So, like the Manator, the Impog, Raymond Manta, a plant called Susan, apparently. So this also furthered our idea that they potentially could be in the Gravity Falls universe, just based off the fact that the first one is literally the Manotaur, which had a multiple appearances within the Gravity Falls show. So, and we can't confirm it's the same Manotaur because it says they require more jerky, and if we remember from the show, they ate a lot of jerky. So I think it's safe to say that wherever this lab, wherever this website background takes place is probably within the Gravity Falls universe, something along those lines. So anyway, and then we see up here in the top right-hand corner, excuse me, that there is a person named Dr. Thorne. So just keep that name in mind because that name is going to pop up down the line. For right now, there's really nothing else in this document. If you guys want to, you guys can go through and read all of the different descriptions and such and see what these things are. But for right now, we're going to move on to the next one. So the, what did I write here? Oh, sorry. So specifically here, on the last button, there is a poster of what seems to be some type of recruitment or some type of meeting to where the ghost pirates are trying to get random civilians to go drown with them in the idea that they will be getting their wishes granted by the Abyssal Emperor. So I kind of made the notion here that the pirates are potentially holding the jellyfish hostage, or the jellyfish is using the pirates as minions to do its bidding, or the jellyfish really is the antagonist of the story and potentially Bill might be the good guy, but hopefully that's not the case. I really want to think that the jellyfish is the good guy, but this poster is not helping its case. But anyways, we did rule out the fact of Morse code from those little dots within the O's. We instead thought that they could be I's. We know Bill has the tendency to leave I's in a lot of the places that he goes. So we think that that's what the imagery that they were trying to convey with that poster. Moving on to the TV screen buttons. So these buttons can be found with below the terminal screen itself right here, these 5 buttons right there. When clicked, they each review a different image. So as you guys can see, the first image is of Ford, who's seems like he's either fixing up or repairing the Stano War II. There's some runes on these metal plates right here. We did try to match them to runes from the Cipher Hunt. We did our best to match them. So, like, for example, this little fork one right there, best matched the A. This little sideways infinity symbol, best matched the K. And there actually is no rune cipher for this flag, so we just kind of put the idea out there that maybe this is an unfinished G. This is the closest thing that it resembled for a rune cipher. So once again, we are unsure if this is even the correct cipher to be using for these symbols, or if these symbols even mean anything at all, which we further said here. The next image is of Stanley getting ready to go somewhere. He has his outfit, he's getting his game face on. He looks very scary here, but I'm sure whatever he's doing for out of love and respect for his brother. So this next image is of the 2 brothers seemingly packing stuff onto their ship. I would assume the Stano War II. This probably takes place before they head off, so especially since it's in a boathouse. So yeah, some things of note is that you can see Mabel's grappling hook in this little barrel over here. You can also see some of the character symbols that are half finished. For example, this is a Grunkle Stands. This star could be assumed to be Mabel's star, but again, it's just speculation, especially since it doesn't have the little tail on it. And then over here, we can see the end piece of Seuss's question mark. So that is very interesting to see that there's a couple of the symbols already making a reappearance from the original Bill Cipher ARG. So that was fun to see. Also, as you guys can see, this looks to be the same crate that we saw from that one Twitter post that washed up on the beach. So obviously this is connecting back to the Stana War 2, and it probably either sank or crashed. And you can also see the little Bill Cipher sign that I got so excited about right here, the one that said "Get Distracted." The sign's right there, so obviously that was Ford's, or not Ford's, sorry, that was Stanley's. um, the next image is what looks to be like a storage location, I would assume within the boat, because it's got that rounded interior, and it's very dark and gloomy. And it also has like this little seat that looks like it would be on a boat. But anyways, yeah, these were some of the trinkets and treasures that could be found within that section. We are unsure if the things in this jar could be relevant to codes, maybe, or even some form of imagery, image code. We don't really know if these have any meaning at all. We just thought it was weird that there were a specific number of items and specific items in general within these jars. So we thought we would list a couple codes based on, some of the things we saw, like 5 eyeballs, 5 fingers, 5, 2 hands right here, so 2, and then, no hands or fingers, no hands or fingers. But again, none of these have worked thus far. We don't know if this is a code, but we just wanted to see anyways if it worked. The final image is this picture of Ford and Stanley, I would assume, plotting their course on this map while passing a place called Silet's Bay. Now, in the Gravity Falls universe, it's not confirmed that there's a place called Silet's Bay, but the fact that it does show up on Google Maps as existing within Oregon does mean that it is a real location in our world. Once again, kind of reintroducing the theory that maybe they are in our world at this point in time. So, and then of course I have to reiterate, do not attempt to visit this Google Map location in real life. Please, under any circumstances, we will not be held liable for the decisions that you make. This is just for the ARG, guys. Don't go there and expect a statue. And then of course finally is the page source mode. So this is kind of giving a little bit of a deep dive and a little bit of a tutorial on how to inspect the page source of this website. So as you guys can see, whenever I try to right click on it or anything like that, it does not give me the option to inspect it or go through its page source mode. So it's literally like a locked website, but of course there are ways to circumvent this with manual keys, manual commands. So in this regard, for Windows and Linux users, you're going to want to do Control Shift and C for the inspect mode, but then for the page source mode, you can just do Control U. I personally find the page source mode Control U to be a lot easier and a lot friendlier to use, but if you guys know what you're doing, then probably the inspect mode will be just fine. So yeah, there was a couple of hidden text strings within the source code of the page. We have welcome aboard mateys, take what you will, but don't rattle me bones. Open the captain's log and find treasure to take. So we think that that's actually the little tab up here, its description, but because it's not actually there, it's very hard to read. Another condensed version of the text can be found where it just says, welcome aboard mateys, take what you will, but don't rattle me bones. And then this was new, so this was an extended version of the text to include more lore, to where it says, open the captain's log and find treasure to hide. Be careful, my friend, or he'll rattle and shake. Turn the lights low, there's a frightening glow. Use your skill to take what you will. You can take your fill, but don't rattle me bones. So obviously there is a huge implication of rattling bones here. Again, we don't know what that means or what it implies or if we're supposed to do something specific with that information, but obviously whoever this entity is does not want us to rattle their bones. So, Aye, aye, Captain. But anyways, recently I did check out Ozone's videos. He is the YouTuber that I was talking about that is making his own videos on this ARG. He did find another quote within the page source that said, "It's inside. Error in logic. I am not inside anything. You are." So it seems like whatever entity is trapped in this way is having internal conflict and dialogue, potentially. So not really sure what's going on here, but obviously he's talking to someone if he says that I am not inside anything, you are. So he's talking to someone, we just don't know who. And with that, that closes the captain's website. Again, if anything updates within the captain's website that we can add, of course we will add it. I will be doing as many checks as I can to make sure that everything is as updated to date as it is. But again, if you guys find anything that you want to add on to the document, please leave a comment, and of course we'll do our best to add it on. Before we go to the console codes, I just want to give a brief, actually no, yeah, we'll do the console codes, that's fine. So this next section is mainly focused on the console codes, which can be found if you click on this button right here. It will lead you to this section that says Standard War II console. And of course it gives you the option to put in your own little password or text or something like that. Kind of, again, very much referencing the Bill Cipher ARG. The Book of Bill ARG, and how they also had a console where you had to input codes into to figure out stuff like that and get feedback. So as of now, there have been a couple codes that have been found. Sorry, my apologies. The credit here goes to show who found what codes and, you know, how early they were found. So we only have a couple for right now. I assume there's going to be more within the book. We just have to look. But for now, let's go through the ones that we found. I'm going to save FSW for last because that one does have another ARG component to it. But for right now, so if you input the code Bill Cipher, it shows you a glitching GIF. And within the glitching GIF appears this text that says, "Stupid jellyfish thinks he's cosmic, adorable. You can't drown an idea, Ford. Now let me out." So I guess Ford tried to drown Bill or something like that, and somehow this, again, the jellyfish is being compared to as a cosmic entity like the axolotl, but Bill doesn't think so, so maybe there's some type of disconnect there. We aren't really sure. All we can tell is that Bill is alive, he's doing well, and he's pissed. So let's maybe not make him any angrier. But anyways, moving past FSW, we'll circle back to it later. The next code is Victoria Thorne. Now, I just put these images here before I started this live stream, so I haven't actually read any of these letters or any of these notes. So in that regard, we can kind of go through this together now in the moment. So as again, remember I told you guys to remember the name Victoria Thorne, as in the radio buttons. Her name was referenced, or I guess not necessarily her name, this could be any Thorn, but a Thorn was referenced when doing this experience. Could it be Victoria Thorne? Maybe, we don't know, but obviously she has a very big role to play in this overall ARG if she's being mentioned this many times. But anyway, so I'm gonna actually take this image. Oh, shoot, wait, I don't think I can copy and paste Google Images, it's so dumb. You go like that. Gonna go to MS Paint. We're gonna paste the image, and then we're just gonna zoom in. Oh god, that's so bad. Oh, that's bad. Okay, I may just have to work with it here then. Oh, that's still bad. Okay, let me take a swig of water, and then I'm gonna try and see if I can read this. Man, that water felt good. But anyways, okay. So, it says, "My floating eyes have broken free of their containment cells. Absolutely catastrophic. Their escape renders my time in this wretched wasteland almost worthless. But at the very least, I have conceived one lasting breakthrough here. The the pools, they called me mad. They dared to call me mad. Can you believe them? Can you believe their audacity? Mad? Ha! Preposterously, propoundly, perpetually petulant and parallel and peril? I much prefer the title of extremely forward thinking with just a mild disregard for human limitations. That's it. That's all. What is a little bit of optical restructuring between family members? The Northwest Church. Interesting. So now we're bringing the Northwests into this. Not church, the Northwest Cowards. My esteemed get inseparable relatives that I have the extreme displeasure of sharing blood between. Pay to see the potential. They cry abomination. They cry curse. They cry, dear all that is holy. What on earth have you done? Drama queens, the lot of them. So now they've brothered a deal with the Thorn family, a grim, secretive branch with more skeletons in their closet than I have in my whole lab. They will take her, marry her off, and sweep my little breakthrough under the very expensive Persian rug of history. Feels. The fuck does that say? Gendies? What? I don't know. Does not work like your unpaid dolls. The blood will remain. The knowledge remains. The eye sees, and it does not blink. Someday, somewhere, some distant descendant of mine, born into the cursed Thorn lineage, will feel that distinctive itch behind their forehead. I can hear it now. It plays in my mind like a broken phonograph. Oh no, I have inherited Grandpa's little gift, but you will see more than anyone else. Dr. Phineas Cornelius Bernard Northwest, MD. Oh, I guess that's all of his degrees. So yeah, it seems like this mad scientist guy created something that a lot of people were scared of, and I guess they brokered a deal with the Northwest family to keep it a secret, but it was an arranged marriage type of secret. I'm not really sure what's going on here, but obviously this guy did something bad for the Thorns and wrapped the Northwests into his mess, which again, very interesting that they're bringing the Northwest into this now, because that means, what does that mean for Pacifica and her lineage from the Gravity Falls show? What does Pacifica have to do with this now? So, very interesting to see. But yeah, next is Jelly Roger. This one was a bit simple. It just kind of gave this image of a sad-looking eye. It almost looks like it's crying right here. The fact that it's named Jelly Roger, I would assume it could be the jellyfish. This is a look into what the jellyfish is currently feeling wherever it is. Obviously, it's very sad or it's very distraught. We don't know why or we don't know where or how, but obviously it's not doing too good. The next image is the captain's log, which shows the actual front and back cover, once again, of the journal that we saw in that one Twitter post. This is beautiful. This is wonderful art. I love it. It's perfect. It's wonderful. It's very nice to see the creativity that those creators have for this type of project. It's just amazing. Just look at that. It's visually stunning. I love it. The next one was Kraken. What's funny is you think it'd be Kraken, like the monster, like Kraken, but the code itself was Crack-in, like Crackkin. So that was a little bit funny. What also made this one interesting was that it showed an axolotl and a squid with one eye. It seems like they're friends. Now, again, this could be a direct reference to the all-seeing, all-knowing axolotl from the actual Book of Bill ARG, to where it was the one to banish Bill to their prison. But yeah, I guess they're trying to make that that correspondence that the axolotl is technically canon in this universe, and it could be talking to more cosmic entities if it wanted to, like the emperor jellyfish. I'm not sure, but obviously it's here. So that's pretty cool to know. The next code is NYC. Now this one was interesting because NYC means New York City abbreviated. So why would New York City be on this code list? Well, let's take a look at the image. So as we can see, it says warning, four-dimensional cosmic entity detected. Incoming transmission priority code JB. Broadcasting from the data corrupted. If this reaches you, the field distortion hasn't completely eaten my signal. Lyron gone redacted. Status. Entity detected inside of, let's say, globe. 3-sphere inhabitant. Cosmic editor. And then we see a little expert from Stanford Pines. I guess he was studying this creature at some point, where it says, signal weakening, the portal did not lead to New York. We have drifted far beyond the edge of mapped space. Believe it is observing us through time itself. It erases events ex post facto. S. Pines. So to me, as you'll see in this little description here, it seems like it's a reference to, or at least a little small appreciative nod to the idea of like the writers of this show, or of specifically this ARG, or both. You know, how they're the ones that's kind of controlling everything. They're the ones who make all of the decisions for these ARGs, whether we like them or not. Especially if we look at the fact that the cosmic entity literally has a book as his like central piece, as well as I would assume a quill to help him write, or help them write. So that's pretty funny. But yeah, I assume it's like Ford went too far. He peeped the horror, and this is what he saw. So yeah. And then the last code is specifically the Stan O War 3. So not the Stan O War 2. That one was the one that presumably got destroyed at sea. But the Stan O War 3, which appears to be this flying rocket ship-based bus. There's a lot of writing on here, and I assume that this is just like talking about the actual thing itself, which it does seem like it is. So that's very interesting. Whether this is in development within the universe to where they're currently making the Stan O War 3, we don't know. But it is very interesting to see that this is a potential future plot point of the Stanford and Stanley Chronicles. So that was pretty cool. And then for our last code that I said I would come back to, Florida Sea Watch. Yes, the actual name of the Twitter page is a code. So if you input Florida Sea Watch into the code console, you get this. It's kind of like an article-based image towards a giant eyeball found on beach, posing mystery for marine biologists. And then right below it, you get some text. It says, a photo from the Florida Sea Watch Conservation Commission shows a giant eyeball from a mysterious sea creature that washed ashore and was found by a man walking the beach in Pompano Beach, Florida, on Wednesday. The eyeball will be sent to the Florida Fish and Wildlife Research Institute in St. Petersburg. And then it gives a person named Lance Skipper, and lo and behold, an email. You know what that means, folks? We gotta send a message to the email to see if it's real. So we did actually end up doing that. This is the email right here. We did actually end up sending an email, and I'm going to show those to you guys. I'm going to show those to you guys right now. So I actually sent emails today. So I just sent this email earlier today at 11:47 a.m. You guys can read it here if you want to. But yeah, I sent this email. Not even 10 minutes. Within 7 minutes, I got a customized response and a cipher. What I mean by customized response is that they perfectly referred to my name, or at least my last name on my email being Tomato. He literally said, Mr. Tomato. It's been a long time, Mr. Tomato. It's been a long time, Peter. I'm just kidding. It's been a long time. I think I know a tomato once before. A large vegetable grew to the sides of a bus. If sailing, swim, where something is wrong with the words. I keep falling apart. And then it gives me the cipher. So that cipher decoded to har har har. So this be what it like to what were it surf the web. So we also made the iteration down here that it seems like the account itself is trying to give customized responses in terms of the ARG, but also also tends to give like the same code to everyone. Because yes, even though I got a custom response and Ozone didn't, we both got the same code. So it seems like they're trying to like steer us in the right direction for this, even if they give us different responses. So I do want to point out a little note here as that I am unsure of how to proceed. I don't know if they want us to decipher some type of new code or new message before we can email them back, or if that was what they wanted. They wanted us to figure out the code and then just like send a simple reply, responding to their question, potentially. I don't know yet, and I don't want to risk messing things up, especially if it is something I have to do in order to move forward. So, for the time being, I'm just going to leave it there right now. If one of you guys or if someone else you see manages to get a different email with a different code or is continuing emailing this email to get codes and such like that, then let me know, write a comment, and we'll see if we can include any and all findings from that. But yeah, so those are all of the currently working console codes. I'm pretty sure there's going to be more, but for the time being, those are the ones that we have found, and those are the ones that other people within the community have found, so we're very grateful for that. And I guess the last thing would be the journal findings. So this is going to be the pre-prep page before we actually get into the nitty-gritty of the pages within the journal. So for right now, I'm just going to leave you guys with this, that this place is viewer discretion advised. No, this isn't just something that we put there. This is actually something that you can see when you try to go into the journal, that the book sails into dark and uncharted waters meant for older readers. So it's not just us being sticklers, it's even the website that's telling you what to do. So this is going to be your final warning before we get into the journal readings. Proceed at your own risk. You have been warned. And of course, as usual, we do not take any responsibility for journal readings. I guess that's all I really have to say right now. I know I said that we would start the journal, but honestly, I think this turned out to be more of a recap than actual findings. I just wanted to make sure you guys were all caught up and had a reason to even like this ARG. I wanted to make sure that you guys liked the master doc that I had created. And once again, I'm going to be leaving it on commenters. So as you guys can see, it's going to be left on commenter. So if you guys want to come onto the document and you guys want to comment your findings, or if you guys want to update any findings that we already have, such and such like that, feel free to make those comments. We'll add revisions, we'll add new data, we'll add new findings, findings. There we go. So yeah, don't be afraid to lose comments. We're all in this together. This is community-driven effort. We're all trying our best to solve this ARG, and it's really fun. And I'm glad that I get to share this with you guys. I'm glad that I managed to make this document for all of you guys, and I'm so happy to see where this goes. If it goes anywhere, I'll keep you guys updated on when the next live stream will be, but I can 100% confirm the next live stream will be 100% book focused, or not book, journal focused. So that way we can really get some stuff done. And in terms of everything else, the rest of the doc is done. So you guys go wild, have fun, try out your different stuff. The reason I was vague about some of the things is because I wanted you guys to try it out for yourselves, to read it for yourselves, to experience it for yourselves. So I really hope that this has either motivated you to go and do that or made you more interested in the ARG in general. Please give the creators lots of love and support. They did an amazing, phenomenal job with this ARG, and I can't wait to see where it goes next. But yeah, that's all for now, guys. Thank you so much for coming. Thank you so much for watching. I can't wait to continue this ARG, and I hope you guys have a wonderful day or night wherever you are. Take care, guys.